A very good morning to all. Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now, students, we were learning about the Indian society, and we have discussed many aspects of the Indian society. Like we have discussed about its languages, we have dealt with the demography, which deals with the population. We have seen that how much population is discriminated on the basis of the various aspects. But today we will be talking about the topographical changes of Indian society. In that, first we will be talking about the rural areas, and thereafter we will be talking about the urban areas of the Indian society. So when we talk about the rural areas, that means the village areas. So if you observe the Indian rural areas, so as per the census 2011, there are over the 6 lakh villages into the India. And if we will see the percent wise, so approximate 68.84% of Indian population they lives into the villages, and 31.16 population lives into the urban area. So in short, you can say the maximum population, Indian population, they stay into the village area. There is hardly a small portion, approximate 31%, they all are staying into the urban areas. So let us study what are the characteristic of the rural area. When we think about the rural area, you might be see, many of you might be having your native place as the village only, right? But when we say for any reason your parents might have migrated to the urban areas, as we all are staying into the urban area, when we feel the touch of the rural area, we feel yes, just wow, right? The cool air, the fresh water, everything, the purity, we feel the sense of purity into the villages, the pure food, organic food, in pure sense we can say, the good quality of the vegetable, the good quality of the non-veg also, everything is very good over there. But see, this rural people to stay into the area where which is having the less facility as compared to the urban area face many challenges. So what are the characteristics of such rural area, we will be discussing here, and it is really very important to understand. First of all, when we talk about the rural, anyone wants to say something? Okay, we'll continue. First thing is that the rural society, it is having more and more caste system. Now see, we have already discussed caste system in detail. So here this villagers, they have kept the tree of caste system very nourished. Okay, so it is very very widespread. There is hardly any village where there many castes are not there, or they haven't maintained the caste system. Almost all villages they have such type of caste system. They have several castes, although in some village only one particular caste is dominated, like only Muslim area is there. Particular, in say example, if you will go to the Bhivandi side. So after the Bhivandi, many village starts like Kaloli, Parga. Uh, so you will find that Babgao, like this small small villages are there, and in all this area, dominating people are the Muslim areas. But oppositely, if you will find, there are some other villages, Umade, Sapade, and likewise, I don't remember all the villages. So small small villages are there. So there, Hindu, and in Hindus also, in some area only Kshatriya caste you will find. In some area you will find only Dalits are there. In some area you will find only so and so caste are there. So there are particular villages when only one particular caste dominates. Interdependence of the castes is there due to the specialized occupation. Like if you will go to the common village, okay, common village is in the area of Vasai. So someone wants to join in. Let me allow that student. Students, join in with your official email address. If you don't have, so be punctual and join in time so that it will not disturb the lecture. This is the last student I am permitting. Thereafter, I will not allow any latecomers. Okay, I was telling you about the Vasai, near the Vasai, when there is one small common village dominating society is Hindus are there, but there are Muslims also. But they stay in a very good harmony. Do you know the reason? And the Muslims also having the occupation, especially Qureshi people are more. Qureshi is one of, on the basis of the occupation, they all are this goat seller. So because of this mutton, they have very good customers, Hindu customers. So this build a mutual understanding between the caste. So all this interdependence of the caste is because of the occupation. In Kalyan also, Kalyan is not actually a village, but not exactly very highly urban also. Here also you will find that interdependence of the caste is there. Like Muslims, they have very good customs with the koli, because majority of the Muslims, they are konkani, and this koli, these are the fish seller. So they have very good customs with them. So this caste system is there. Students, let me tell you, there is a spelling mistake into the caste. Should be te. Okay. Then thereafter, intimate relations. Because see, why intimate relation means face to face relation among the people. In village, why there is a face to face relation? Because of the small size of the population, small size of the area. So personal contact with each other, and they have very good relation. Not like our Mumbai people, that we don't know who's staying in our neighborhood. At least we know the neighbor, but we don't know who's staying in our next society. And if you will see the top floor and ground floor, hardly I know any people, those who all are staying there. The people, those who all are staying from past 20, 30 years in my society, I know them only. But many new people, they have started staying on my ground floor and all. So hardly I know any people in area. So uh, not like our urban people, that we don't, not even knowing the society people. They have a very good relationship. They know each and every people because of the regular interaction. They know the people, those who are staying into the distant area. Suppose if there is a marriage, so the whole village will be invited for the marriage. They have such good customs, or you can say the relationship. So that type of relationship is known as the intimate relationship amongst the people. Now when we talk about the status of woman, what do you think about status of woman? Here in the case of the village, the women are very much dependent on their man. They require support of institution like marriage and the family. The rural women, they are mostly engaged into the indoor activities. Like our women, they don't have the freedom to go outside and do the job, but they are mostly they are only taking care of the field only. So whatever field work are there, they have to do. Field work means the farm activities, so women are basically engaged in all those things, as well as household chores is supposed to be done by the woman only. Means they think that it is the duty of the woman to take care of the house, not like us. They have the maids and all those who all are supporting them. But see, it is not exactly like same in all the villages. Not very recently, I think 2 years back, I visited my mother-in-law's village, matlab unka maika. So I went there, so I found that they were like housewives. They were not having any field work. Means their family, and she belongs to the royal family of the village. So might be it is because of that I found that the woman, they, this is my personal experience and personal visit to the village Mamdapur. So I found that the villagers there, they have very good life, means very cool life. First of all, they have the very good fresh air. They have very good respect. The women, they have the respect, but they may not be the case in every village. I found that they have so many maids to support them. Some are filling the water, some are doing this thing. They don't have the water system and all. So here, usually, huh? But this thing is that they are depend for each and everything on their man only, because the main command or main dominating person in the society will be man. Not like us that हम लोग जो है whatever amount, or you can say uh, monthly जो budget होता है, we give to the mother, and then thereafter they will be deciding. She will be the home minister, she will be deciding the budget. Even now also in our family, whatever things are there, the whole command we have given to our mother-in-law. She will be taking care of all budget, everything. So here in village, the this is not the case. That the commander will also be under the man only, and they will be asking भाई ये सब सामान चाहिए, ये सब जो है requirement है, these things to be done. But in our case, what is like that we will be giving everything to them, and the women are only in charges of the family, and they are only basically taking care. So overall activity will be only indoor activity. Hardly any woman is taking any interest. Now also I find it that now also hardly any woman will taking any type of the interest in education. Most of the women, they have only primary school. The village which I have visited, they have the school up to 7th standard. So all the women are only 7th pass, and few of second or third pass only. So they are not having any interest, because see, since childhood only they are busy in all such activities, so they hardly find that education is of any importance. Women adjust themselves to the family condition and make lots many of the sacrifices in the interest of the family. They will not find, they will never ever share their interest that I also need mobile phone, I also need some out outings, I also want this, I also need a social status, I also need the um, you can say the social media and all. So all the sacrifices are done for the purpose of the family. When we say the occupation, mostly occupation in India is the agriculture. About 80% people you will find directly or indirectly they are concerned with the agriculture and other related area. What do you mean by the agriculture related area? It means rearing and caring of the farm animals, or you can say the pet. selling the meat, selling the animals. So these are the related areas. So prosperity of rural area is directly connected with the agriculture. Now, when we talk about size of the population, as I had earlier stated, that 68.84% of population lives into the village. In advanced countries, rural population forms small part of the total population, but in India, the majority of the I'm extremely sorry, Sriva. Majority of the Indian population they stays into the rural area. As per the World Development Indicators 2011, if we will compare India with other countries, Japan is having 9% population into the villages, Australia 11%, USA 18%. But in India, main reason for majority of population into the rural area is due to the developing nature of the Indian economy. And majority of workers, about 55% in 2011, they were engaged into the agriculture. So if you will observe the employment factor, so because of this employment, now see majority of the people in India, they are induce or directly or indirectly into the agricultural purposes. So for that particular reason, they find that if we will go to the urban area, we will lose this employment also, and we have to face the new challenges for getting employment. And they do not match, as I told you, that hardly any of they will be getting the appropriate education. They have to face the challenges for the education. If they want to study, they have to directly go to the now see many villages they are connected with the railway line. So many villages now, if you will go uh, early in the morning, even if you will go to the railway station, Kalyan railway station, you will find that the trains which are coming from the Badlapur and Titwala side, they are completely packed. And you will find that majority of them they are traveling for the purpose of college studies. So many girls they are coming and they started moving to the uh, cities for the purpose of the education, because they know that if you want to settle into the city, the main competition will be the good education. Now if you will observe the location pattern, so approximate 6,41,000 population they lives into the villages. This rural areas they are scattered. Means it is not like that in Karjat side only you will be finding the villages, or simply you can say that in north villages are more as compared to the south. So it is not like that. Villages are not concentrated in a particular area. These are very much scattered. Even if you will see into the Maharashtra, so you will find everywhere villages are there. Like if you will go to the Akola side, so you will find that there Bhusawal and all nearby areas they are villages type. Akola is bit urban you can say. And if you will see the Nagpur, it is highly urban, or you can say the metro city. And thereafter many small villages are there in Kalyan or Mumbai side. If you will come, Mumbai is urban, but if you will go to the western side, Virar and all, to Virar, Vasai and all, you will find there are villages. If you will come to the after the Kalyan, all means Ulhasnagar is bit urbanized, but if you will see the Vittalwadi, then till up Karjat, small villages are there. Badlapur is also urbanized nowadays. So small villages are there. Now the development of the villages has been started, but still, thus you can say these villages are very much scattered. And at present, about 4,000 village population of 10,000 plus. Okay, so means the population is very very small. Population in many of the villages, approximate 2,36,000 village population is less than 500%. Can you imagine that? So many 2,36,000 village, if you will see their population, the number of the persons staying in those villages is less than 500 people. In our area, in one society, you will find that now approximate nowadays in urban area society is six, minimum 6 to 10 floors, right? So 6 to 10, and if you will go in Mumbai, hardly any building you will find that it is less than 10 floors. So here, if you will see one society, and if you will see the area of the society, it is so small and it is having thousands of people. But in the village like area, and it's such a big area, you will find that the population is less than 5,000 person. And it is, I'm not talking about one or two village in India. Approximate 2,36,000 villages are there. Their population is less than 500 persons. Literacy we had already discussed. Now, as per the census of the 2011, overall literacy rate is about 74%. But this overall means the India's literacy is 74%. But when we talk about the rural literacy rate in many states, it was less than 50%. Low literacy rate is due to the lack of educational facility into the village, as well as the poverty among the rural masses. Means, see, you cannot say that we can have the idea of giving free education. You will find in many villages the education is absolutely free, at least the preliminary education. But they have the mentality that if their ward will be going to the farm, they will be learning the farm activity. They have to adopt it as the occupation, and this education is killing the main time of their child. Because if the child will be sitting into the school, will not be able to go to the farm. So for that purpose, they are not interested for the education of their children. More, and they have the conservative type of attitude. They don't accept the change. Any change, you will ask them to take the vaccine, they will not at all accept such type of the change. They will not at all ready to change their principles, their policies, and their programs. Even if they suppose, say, example, in one village, there are many programs like haldi for the marriage, haldi, mehndi, और भी पता नहीं क्या क्या होता है. They have so many things. Okay, so if one person is poor, and if he can't afford to have all such program, so what that person will do, will sell the land or something for their daughter's marriage, and will do everything because he wants to do everything which is they thinks like it is compulsory, or say the principal policy. So they are very much conservative. They are not at all ready to change whatever their principle and policies are. Then unemployment rate. When we talk about the unemployment rate, so definitely as the level of education is very poor, so unemployment rate is very very high into the rural area. If we will compare it with the urban area, even in urban area, if a person will not getting any employment, what that person can do, he will be still having a chance that will go to the traffic signal and will sell the small small things, right? You will find many people, they are selling the strawberry berry and other things on the traffic signal. But here in the rural area, there is no such chances that they can opt for such small profession. So unemployment rate is extremely high as compared to the urban area. When we talk about their current daily status, so it is really very embarrassing estimate of unemployment. It includes the unemployment as well as the underdevelopment. Just now I had given you the example that development is not there, so development is not there, population is not there, so what can they do? There are two other estimate, currently weekly status and usual principal and subsidy status. As per the 2011 and 12 estimate, approximate 5% of 5.7% of the workforce in rural areas was unemployed as per the current daily status basis as compared to 5.5 in urban area. However, under usual principal and subsidiary status basis, unemployment rate in 2011 to 12 was 1.7% as compared to 3.4 into the urban area. That means when they are provided with the subsidiary and other things, so the unemployment rate was found is bit down. What is the subsidiary? Subsidiary is the amount given by the government for starting up any of the business. You can say it's a type of loan with the low interest. Then when we talk about the media exposure, so definitely it is comparatively low as compared to the urban area. In urban area, if a small accident will be done, so definitely it will be highlighted by all the media. But here the media is very media exposure is very low. Percentage of rural household reached by television and print media is lower due to the poverty and lack of the education. You will not find that so many now. If you will move to station to the college, so you will find there are approximate three newspaper seller, but hardly there would be any newspaper stall into the rural area. People are only not educated, so who will read them? They are not ready to study their educational stuff. So do you think they will be taking any interest in reading the newspaper and all? So very much less now. See, they may not think of purchasing the newspaper of rupees 5, because that 5 rupees they may be using it for their purchasing. Because see, poverty, lots of people in the rural area, they are very poor, and this poverty will kill their many wishes or desires. They don't desire only to be educated. Just now, while discussing about the education, I had given you the example that they don't want to get their ward to be educated. The reason is that if their ward will not support them, who will they ask to do the farm work? Right? They cannot keep any staff who is doing that job, right? So for that particular reason, this is one of the reasons. Second thing, they want their child to be self-dependent and learn this activity so that they can opt this particular profession into the future. So they do not have such type of the media exposure because they are not educated. Maximum exposure to the media is they're using like radio. Why? Because it is cheap and it is easily available. So max to max they are using the radio. TV also they required the nowadays smart TVs works on the internet, but still if internet is not there, then that what is that digital antenna, sky, Tata Sky and all, or maybe the cable. So definitely all these are again the payable media sources. so they cannot afford it due to the poverty. So hardly any media exposure is there. They, most of them, they are relying on the radio only. Due to low media exposure, government campaigns and on whatever family welfare and other issues, they do not reach to the masses of the village. Many schemes are there. How can they improve themselves? How can they get the benefit of all this area? Means how can they get the benefit all the schemes? They are not educated, they are not interested, so they are not at all getting any type of the media exposure, so they are not getting the help from the government also. Now next is the poverty. 21.92% of the Indian population, they lives into the uh, below poverty line, that is BPL in 2011-12. But in rural area, percent of people living in below poverty line is 25.70. बिलो पॉवर्टी लाइन में जो है the people, they are included those who cannot get their basic needs also. So imagine in rural area the people living in below poverty line is 25.70%. Means each rural areas, there are so many rural area, and India's 68.54% staying into the rural area. And imagine each rural area approximate 25.70 population stays in below poverty line. And overall India, the rate is 21.90. So the rural poverty is very high, especially in the state of Orissa, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh. Now, what do you think would be the causes of the rural poverty? Rural poverty is actually because of the high growth of population, especially among the poor people. They do not go for any family planning and all, and they think like that more children, more the worker will would be supporting to the family. They have such type of thinking that we, if we have more and more children, more and more supporting hands we will be getting, and we will have the better future. Then social exploitation by the landlord of the farm laborers. Initially, as I told you, that they do not have the ideas of the government scheme and all. There are many banks like NABARD and all those who are supporting this agricultural people, and they are giving them loan and all. But they are not aware of all such schemes. So what do? They take the loan from the landlord, and this landlord, they are charging the high rate of the lagan, or you can say the interest. If you want to see the detail of such type of exploitation, you can definitely watch the movie Lagan. In that they have shown, but that is the very old time is shown in that particular movie, that British time has been shown. But still that landlord, they are exploiting the farm labor. Then there are many malpractices are done by the money lender. They are just charging any cost, and they are saying that now your mortgage land will be mine because of the high interest. Either you pay so and so amount, or the land will be mine. Poor implementation of any poverty, anti-poverty measures, whatever anti-poverty measures are there, hardly any relief is been reached to these poor people. When we talk about the work participation rate, so total workforce to the total population. What is the participation rate? It is the ratio of total workforce to total population. Note it down. What is the work participation rate? It is the ratio of total workforce to the total population. This work participation rate into the rural area is similar for the male as in urban area, approximate 53%. But as far as female workers are concerned, work participation rate is 30%, which is comparatively higher into the urban area. That means almost 30% women, they are going to the farm fields for doing the work. So female work participation rate is very much higher. Even in the rural area, the old women, they are also going to the farm field and they are doing the work. Here you can see that an old lady, she is doing work. So work participation rate, at least in urban area, you will not find that the old lady, they are doing job at the age of the 60. Most of the institute, especially the government institute, they are giving the retirement to the senior people. Now, what are the main problems into the rural area? Lack of infrastructure facility such as road, transport, electricity. Now here you can see they are using the hand pump. They do not have the proper water facility. So if water is not sufficiently present, so definitely that will be challenging to the sanitization and hygiene of that particular area. Literacy is the major problem. Low level of the literacy is there. Then high incidence of the poverty as compared to the urban area, because they are totally depend on the agricultural practices. So and most of they do not have the good infrastructure or good machineries for doing the agricultural practices, and they are doing that by the handhold method only, manual method you can say. They do not have the good type of the farm equipment also. So for that particular reason, they are totally relying on the nature for the irrigation of their farms. So if any year if there is no rain, so or maybe change due to changes into the climate, they suffer the poverty more and more. Moreover, that they have the social exploitation by the landlords and the other people. They are distinguished and se- seasonal unemployment means I'm sorry, when they do not have the proper season. Suppose if one particular farm is being used for the rabi crops or maybe the kharif crops, so that one season only they are working and one season they will be having the unemployment, so that is called as the seasonal unemployment. So these all are the basic rural characteristic, or you can say the rural problem. So as I told you in the beginning of the lecture, that whenever we are going to the rural area, we enjoy the air, we enjoy their whatever chutney, roti, whatever things they are making, the fresh food, the taste and all. But these are the actual problems these rural people they are facing, and they are just giving us the lovely smiley face. They do not show us the problem they are facing. Actually, they themselves are not that educated and they do not have that level of the sense of awareness that they have all such challenges. So this is all about the rural characteristic. Next area, we will learn about the urban characteristic also, that what other challenges and the things of the urban area they are having. So this is all about today's lecture. If anyone have any doubt, can ask me. Any doubt, students?